So, Season 3 of Sonic Prime was finally released on Netflix, and it was a grand time. For the most part, I mean. Season 1 had its footing, some parts were mid and not so engaging, but Season 2 helped pick it up a bit. So, how did Season 3 fare? Before I start, just saying, this will contain spoilers for Season 3 and the show as a whole. So if you don't want to be spoiled, leave now. Alright, this season picks right up after Nines leaves with the Paradox Prism and plans to use it to create his own world. Sonic is of course devastated, but is convinced by Shadow they had to stop him. Eventually near the end, everyone comes together, Nines sees the error of his ways, Sonic uses his energy to fix everything, and Shadow takes the weakened Sonic, very epic-wise by the way, and make it a Green Hill. Everything is then restored to the moment before Sonic shatters the Prism, thus meaning Sonic and Shadow are the only ones who remember anything about what happened after the Prism was shattered. And then, everything is all good, right? Well, not exactly. It really kind of ends on a cliffhanger. At first, many and myself thought that it was the Chaos Council finding a way to Sonic's world, especially since a giant shockwave came similar to the one that happened in the first episode. But it was confirmed by one of the people who worked on the show that it was just a cliffhanger. He didn't really specify on who it was, so we still don't know who it is. It just ends there. Reminds me a lot of Sonic Boom's endings. So, why did it end like that? And there are still a lot of questions and things wrong with this season. Okay, guys, I have issues with this season. It's really dragged on. Once we get to Nine's Domain, the fight in there lasts for the entire season. I swear, each of the episodes ends with an Avenger-style clash or Nine rebuilding and making more robotic versions of the cast. I will say though, I'm glad we got a Robot Big. It was really funny. Anyway, this was a problem. They made this fight go on for so long and spread out into the rest of the episodes left in the show. It doesn't really make any sense that they went this route with only 7 episodes. Yeah, just 7. The last 2 seasons had 8 episodes. They promised 24 episodes, and it was only 23 in total. So, why did it have only 1 less? Well, there's a truth to this. You see, people discovered that the first episode of Season 1 was around 40 minutes, which is double the amount of a normal episode, which is around 20 minutes. So that means, and the writer confirms by the way, that episode 1 is 2 episodes in 1. Why didn't they separate them? No idea. Also, I hate that Shadow was kicked out again, only to show up near the finale. Again. Anyway, I was like, during the entire fight scene and the rest of the episodes, I was like, why are we still here? Is something gonna happen? Does this go on for the rest of the season? It does. So since this ended on a cliffhanger, we're all wondering, how are the other worlds doing? Do they all still exist? Do they all keep in touch with each other? How is Nine doing after all this? We don't know. I was expecting a short epilogue with the variants. And speaking of the variants, because we spent all this time with the other versions of the cast, we don't get to spend enough time with the main cast. They only got time to shine in the first episode and flashbacks, which really sucks because I really enjoyed the voice cast for the characters. Though I am very curious as to why Knuckles has 2 different voice actors for some reason. Vincent Tong voiced Knuckles' variants, while Adam Narada voiced the main one, again for some reason. Moving on, the ending part back in Green Hill feels very rushed. We don't even know where Shadow takes the Paradox Prism on a teleporting it away with him. We don't know. And we gotta talk about canon stuff. Okay, is it canon? Yada yada. Yes, they say it's canon to the games. So yeah. First, anyway, leave Ian Flynn alone. He wasn't the writer. He didn't write anything in the show. I swear, once Prime ended and he said when Prime took place, people were going after him. They always shoot the messenger. He said this takes place sometime after Sonic Advance 3, And yes, that could mean anything. And yes, I know that confuses people because Orbot and Cubot are there. So obviously, it would have to take place after Sonic Colors, which came out years after Sonic Adventure 3. But he said he only said Sonic Adventure 3 because of the reference that appeared in the show. But then he said Prime wipes itself out and it doesn't matter at the end of the day. Because since the prison was shattered, nothing has changed. So it doesn't matter when and where it takes place. But then that further makes things even more complicated. Because if it doesn't matter, then does that mean the other worlds are gone? They never existed? What? I'm giving myself a headache. You know what? Nope. I'm done talking about this. Nope. Let's go to my positive before I go crazy. The fights were great and very well animated. I liked seeing 9 on the Brigade of Insanity, Renegade Knuckles punching 9 in the face. I liked many of the interactions, especially Shadow and Sonic's. Trust me when I say, Shadow may not show it, but he definitely cares for Sonic in his own way. If you notice when Sonic is done getting his energy depleted, you can see his reaction. He cares. Also, Ian Hanlon is by far one of my favorite Shadow voices. He drops the best line at the finale. How on earth does he voice this socially awkward guy to this guy? Oh, and also big. I also like the bond that the 3 Amy Roses had. Rusty Rose really had such great developments. Dread Knuckles redeeming himself to not be greedy. Mangy and Sails interacting. I wish 9 got to team up with them. Can I just say though, we were robbed of the variants of Rouge interacting with Shadow. The Rebel one only had 1 or 2 line stages with the guy. Not even our normal Rouge interacted with him. Why didn't we get any variants of Orbot and Cubot? They were in the cave when the prism shattered. So, why? Also, why did we have 5 Eggmen in New York City, but we didn't have any other Eggman in the other worlds? Missed opportunity to have a Pirate Eggman or a Jungle King Eggman. Sonic Prime, I enjoyed it. Sure, some things were missing. I wish we had other characters in this. It makes the world feel small. But because of the amounts of variants, I guess they wanted to keep it short. And sometimes Sonic did feel a little bit too airheaded at times for my taste. I know he's young, but in Season 1, he did display a little bit of stupidity a few times. And I understand why they kept Shadow back for story reasons, but I wanted him more involved in the plot. He gets yeeted away and then shows up near the end, multiple times. Despite all the issues that Season 3 had, I enjoyed Sonic Prime. The voice cast was great, the episodes were animated very well, it makes me hopeful for another TV series down the line. But not 3D. I want to see a 2D animated series. We've had too many 3D, I want 2D. Imagine Tyson Hesse being one of the artists for the show. That would be awesome. The only note that I would say for any upcoming Sonic show is put IDW characters in it. That is all.